Usano into a literal buko load of damage from his Camazots. Arthur, not the most survivable god until he gets that glass shield online. There's a lot going for him. Sanguine, however, has team fight in spades.
Oh, Mifflin, it is a top 3 matchup. Radiance versus Sanguine with John Finch on the call.
Thanks, Dolson. I got aggro here with you as we move into game 1 between Radiance and Sanguine, 2 of the heavy hitters battling it out for a potential first spot if Sanguine can find that win. And aggro, there's a lot to sort of break down here, I think, in this draft. Aurora's on that Horus. You have Shinto going to play the Raijin, but I'm wondering a bit about this Terra that was
right after the fact. But it's not the Jingwei follow-up where it would have really neutralized a lot of what you were going to see there.
Yeah.
Exactly. This time it's the Chernobog who's going to still root you off of that fracture, but that's not too bad because it's just a root. You still have your dash once you hit level 2 or depending on level 3, depending on how wrong he wants to play it.
Well, more aggression here. We talked about this dual lane a little bit already, and that is where the sparks were flying here in the early game as Netroid does end up poked out. Purple buff's owned by everyone. Just a quick buff count.
I have no reason to think anything but they'll pass with flying colors because all I've done so far this year.
Benji has been grabbed and taken to the sky. The little bit of pressure there has been this game has been on Benji in the solo lane. Even the last breath committed. Even Shinto going into the Taiko drums. But that out of hell is such a good get a jail card. So the rest of Radiance do start up this Fury. They drop it instead to try and take the 4v2, but they're losing it. Look how low Tings is. Benji also low as Panatom keeps up the pressure, and this time there is no ultimate for him to use to escape. The Deathbane's not enough damage. Pyromancer goes down for Sanguine, and Radiance can't take the Fury. This actually does work out this gold just with a couple of tier 2s and then cleaning up these last few tier 1 towers. Now the question is, will Sanguine be defending? And it looks like they are positioned to defend this tier 2 over and left, and Panatom lurks off to the side in the jungle, biding his time. It's a full-on defense here from Sanguine. They're not retreating just yet.
It makes sense. You just can't afford to give up your whole lead. And yes, Fire Giant is valuable, but it's basically about even. That fire is not enhanced, so about 5k worth of stats for your whole team is impactful, but not game-ending. I like Sanguine's call to defend here, but they're taking a lot of poke from big man Tings.
Over in left, that was supposed to be the equalizer that cut in to the 5,000 gold deficit. Instead, they basically got nothing.
Nothing at all. I mean, a tier 1 at 30 minutes is not going to do you a whole lot of good. Now Cyclone is going to get this Phoenix unless Yarkor can back and defend in time. He does have teleport up, and of course Cyclone has that ultimate, so they could rejoin this fray on the right side.
Yeah, they should both be able to match each other's rotations, basically, at this point. Cyclone Spin is going to ult over towards the fight now. Remember, he does have to go to fights. Eventually, it'll be too bad of a fight to take. You have to eventually draw your line in the sand, and I still don't feel like Radiance have been able to do that. A Fire Giant call was nice, but they really weren't able to convert it.
It was a good idea, but then they just lose the siege on the left-hand side so heavily that they got nothing out of it. Yarkor, once again, setting up shop in Radiance's nook between the left and mid-side Phoenixes. This is where he lives now. He likes it here. I don't know, utility prices are low. There's a bit there.
Yeah, it's a good, good school system in that neighborhood, something like that.
Right,
perhaps,
the school district is good, and the taxes are way better here for sure.
It's enough for them to get the kill in the DAP. Particularly sure he's gonna be overcapping all that often.
He won't.
With this current build that he's got.
Just for the raw stats.
Yeah, it's got to be just for the raw stats at this point. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's 35% attack speed, 30 power, 10 pen. That's pretty good. I think that there's probably an argument to be made that something like Aussie might just be better because it gives you double lifesteal, but not necessarily. It's an interesting pickup.
Ooh, Radiance. They're ready to go in. He and Benji both going to be heading right to the back line to try and break up this fight from Sanguine. That does separate Netroid and Shinto kind of on their own over here to the left, while Benji keeps the other 3 looking at him. It forces the ult in the back pocket. If he could just find the opportunity, hides in the wall, but gets caught by Yarkor, taken up to the sky. He still had beads even this late into the fight, but it's too much damage from all the spinning around that Yarkor's doing. He's bringing everyone low, but Cyclone Spin finds another. Yarkor goes down. Panatom now low, and Benji wants a kill of his own. Blink in, has the screech, and finally a big fight for Radiance.
So crazy how Radiance find a way to just hold W and press attack, and all of a sudden it's going a lot better. weird how that works, right? I mean, they're just getting onto the back line now, and all of a sudden these fights are so much easier because they're separating at 1v3 fire defense where he kills Cyclone Spin. There's another instance where I just don't think Radiance has a coherent call all at once that everyone's going to follow. Either you're letting your left side Phoenix die, and you're letting your Titan take some damage so that Benji can be here to help DPS this Fire Giant, or you're not pulling fire in that moment. This plan to send Benji back to defend Titan but not Phoenix, then he'll teleport in. Cyclone just takes too much damage. Having that extra body there is important to absorb those meteors, and Benji not being there made Cyclone take too much damage. Just a split call didn't work.
Depending on how this engage goes, Sanguine has a golden opportunity here. They finally take care of the mid-Phoenix with FG still on Shinto, Rongu, and Netroid, but Aurora takes to the sky. Benji will come along for the ride. He's going to drop right in the middle of a big-time party. Drops the Cursed Ankh onto everyone, but they know their target. It's Netroid, and he had no way out. Never used beads or Aegis as he just gets blown up. And the rest of Radiance wants to keep up the chase, but they have to. This is looking like finally a decent fight, but that's so much damage from Shinto. Look at adapting Aurora and Benji, all with low health bars, and Sanguine love to see that. Even the Typhoon coming out from adapting, that's how much they thought they were about to be dove by Sanguine, but Sanguine are restrained. They now start the Fire Giant. Radiance lurking right outside. The ultimate backup for Aurora, so the re-engage for Radiance could be strong as the Fire Giant starts to fall low, but Sanguine don't fall trick to it at all. They find another stun out from Yarkor and keep the Fire Giant low. They're daring Radiance to try and step in.
It's getting so low at this point. Remember, no great secure either. Aurora blinking in, and all of a sudden, he's the whole focus.
Yeah, they're really not that worried about trying to take the Fire Giant anymore. It's about trying to skirmish here outside the Phoenix. Nothing too serious here as the Oni waves start to bear down on Sanguine's base. Fracture, it's worked well as in behind all this front line from Sanguine. I don't know that you're stopping them, but Radiance in these last few fights have done a great job of spreading them out and trying to force them to fight more Fracture. It's worked well as Yarkor and Aurora take a bit of a skirmish here outside the Phoenix. Nothing too serious here as the Oni waves start to bear down on Sanguine's base.
Sanguine has to be wary of where that right side wave is.
Yeah, Yarkor takes one member up, but look at all the damage Sanguine are taking. That's the big man Ting special. But Netroid comes in and pops Cyclone Spin, airstrikes out. What a call from Netroid, filling himself 52 minutes into the late game. So Aurora goes to the skies. They want to punish Netroid, who they know doesn't have an ultimate and got a little bit too aggressive. Aurora closes the gap. Big knockup gives Netroid a minute to try and breathe. He even goes back into the knockup to escape, but he is dead to rights here in the backline.
The goal is there. It just comes down to the question of what you're looking for in the control. It's a lot of CC in her ult, but not necessarily a lot of damage.
Well, remember, Gourmizer, game one, no chance you forget, game one goes 53 minutes. Can Sanguine bounce back here in game two? Only Finch and Aggro can let us know.
So far, this matchup towards the end of the first half has lived up to all the expectations. And will it continue here, Aggro, as we see our core piloting the...
And your Major Hunter is 6 items level 20. The Major Hunter is going to win. That's the way that the class system kind of works in Smite. But Mulan, more than most, I think really leverages her base damage really well and wants to rotate a little bit earlier on.
Still further action happening over here in solo. They really do want to lock down Benji. Everyone with all that interrupt I highlighted is here, and suddenly Benji isn't. It's first blood for Sanguine. I believe the one other time we saw her was in the jungle, so looking pretty good over here in the solo lane so far. Aggression, though, from Radiance. Cataclysm knocks up Rongu. They've got the Typhoon here as well. And then the Ganesh gets locked down by the three-man rotation. But Panatom dunking in, finds Aurora, and might even find more. Has the wall for Cyclone Spin, but no more hammer. Thunder Crash from Tings means the dash is down, but no more aggression. And everyone
leveled. You're a lot stronger as this Mulan. I think Yarkor's already there.
Desert Fury from Cyclone Spin off the mark. Netroid has to use beads to get away from Cataclysm, but there's a third ultimate that Netroid still has to deal with, and somehow he's lived through it all. Yarkor gets the kill into Benji over in right. Panatom rotates over to left, and they punish the Geb. What a play from Sanguine across the map to survive it all.
Netroid 3-on-1, no problem whatsoever. Nearly kills Aurora, and Panatom's there to make sure it happens at the very end. Just really good positioning. Maybe not on the ultimate necessarily, but maybe that ultimate positioning actually deters adapting from going.
I agree, Ganesh strong, but maybe not quite enough early presence with a lot of that premium being put on these Guardians. I'm not sure, but you're seeing it here from a team like Sanguine with their coordination and ability to work together. It's working well. Panatom has his beads forced out, though. Big strife from Shinto in response, sends everybody else back. Can't quite find the ultimate, but there's the work for Panatom and the Ganesh again together. Dharmic Pillars plus the hammer spin combo puts Aurora in a coffin.
Rongyu is just, he ate his Wheaties today, bro. He's
playing well.
The Terra game, even in the loss, he looks great. He's been all over the map so far. 4 out of the 5 kills have had Rongyu stamp on them, and a couple great Dharmic Pillar placements have really paid off for them.
Now the Gold Fury should belong to Sanguine, plus a kill onto Cyclone Spin. What is going on here? As Sanguine's starting to come to life in the early game. This isn't normally where they pop at the same time. They do pull the Pyromancer, do Sanguine, and Radiance don't make it there anywhere near in time to contest. The objective goes down. They're not done fighting. The Dharmic Pillars traps 2 with limited options for escape to the sky. Goes Panatom, but the target's already been claimed by Sheeptail. He'll have to find a new one. That man will be Aurora. Great Cataclysm to avoid the stun, and he makes it into the rollout to escape at the CC immunity, but Panatom blocks it. That's so nuts. Able to shut down Aurora as well. Sanguine starting to pop off here in game 2.
Man, nowhere for Radiance to go at this point. They can't really this far behind. I don't know if you'll ever get the chance to affect it.
The Arcor still battling it out with Aurora. Looking for a little bit more action. Aurora into the rollout. He's fully leaving this fight. Benji, on the other hand, wants a bit more. Continuing to trade with the Arcor, but Shinto is now here. Really, the entirety of the Sanguine squad is here, and the silence ends up working. What about the ultimate? That works too, as Shinto takes care of Benji with a little bit of help from his friends, and the Arcor keeps Aurora fully zoned out. Even finds the long-range grapple to pull him back in, continuing to die, but won't quite find one without really much contestation at all.
And where is Radiance supposed to contest that? I mean, they just can't at this point. I think it's the right call to give that up. If you're Radiance, we're talking Phoenix D at this point for Radiance. That's the point of the game where we already are, because you can't really afford to do anything else.
Big Taiko drums gives Big Man Ting some space, but that's trouble for Benji in the soul lane again. It's not been his game. They at least answer back by taking out his counterpart. Meanwhile, Cyclone Spin continues to threaten left, but where else would Sanguine be but on the FG? They're starting it up. I don't know how serious they are about this as Aurora makes his way in, but now that they pop the frenzy, I think they're pretty serious. Panatom goes up to confirm that they're all alone. The Ohm is enough to silence Aurora out. No chance for a steal, and Sanguine get a 19.5-minute FG.
And Aurora probably going to pay the price for trying to step up and potentially contest. Yarkor overextends, but it's still
come up and try and push this tier 1 down. You get a little bit more farm over here on the right-hand side of the map, but they got to start grouping. Sanguine threatened the tier 2 and left, and now they found prey in mid lane. It's Benji, who apparently has not suffered enough. 0-5 will be the slash line for him as Sanguine continue to threaten mid and left.
I mean, he got set behind early and often, and it's still working well for Sanguine. Left side, just the duo lane trying to get it done, and they get some good damage off, but not on the Phoenix.
Very nearly get the kill into Aurora. Panatom, as he's done all game, rights that wrong. He does give away his life, though, a nice gift that he hands over to Radiance after what has been a struggle so far for them this game. They grapple just a little bit there off the mark from Yarkor, but I don't think he'll be sweating it too much as he heads back over towards the FG. No, they want the fight instead. It's already kicking off, and low in the back is Aurora. He'll drop early on. Panatom has right to the backline to look for Tings. They do lose Yarkor, but that's a trade they're happy to make. A double kill for adapting, but Benji now in some trouble as Netroid gets a double kill. Maybe not quite as clean as it could have been for Sanguine, but they're still happy to push forward with their damage dealers in one tank to threaten this right side Phoenix.
The first lackluster ultimate of the set for Rongyu right there, and I think that's why that fight didn't go as cleanly as we expected for Sanguine. But they don't seem too deterred, though, Finch. I don't think they're beating themselves up about it.
No, I don't think they are at all. They're even considering pushing here as well. The left side Phoenix is at half HP, and they'll send Yarkor over to keep a constant threat on it and split up Radiance's defense. Meanwhile, the other 4 members threaten mid. There's the Dharmic Pillars around the Phoenix to try and zone out all of Radiance, and Aurora dies almost immediately. He really just can't afford to do much at this point. Benji does find the stun, but the silence is there, and it limits his options. Panatom goes up, and he's been dunking on low HP targets all game. Don't even need him for this one, as Shinto completes the kill. He hammers over towards Adapting, fights right through the Typhoon with the beads, and puts him in the dirt. Now it's all about the Titan. Aggressive Thunder Crash from Tings. Nothing happening there, my man. Sanguine take care of him cleanly, and now it's time to take care of the Titan. Game 2 belongs to Sanguine.
And it wasn't close from minute 1.
No.
Mulan works beautifully there for Yarkor. They camp Benji over and over and
Gore, I think this one's going to be a lot of fun. Horus, Camazot, Chernobog, Hoonbats, Ra for Radiance on the other side. Maybe Ra is the only wild card there. Do you like what Radiance have on the flip side of that conversation? Maybe I don't give you time to answer, because I'm excited to move.
Because this set between Radiance and Sanguine has been awesome so far, and I don't want to miss another moment. Aggro is right here with me, and Ryan short lane this time as Panatom looks for some aggression. It's Benji who's low in the back line as Adapting finds the first blood here for Radiance. A much better start for them as they kick it off. The reaction in both side lanes this time. But I don't think Radiance is done just yet. Adapting continue to hunt down Yarkor, who still has the dash. So he's as Rongyu looks for the buff invade, and I think he gets it with the hammer. He is able to. Meanwhile, that action I previewed earlier over in solo does kick off. Benji able to find that kill with a little bit of help from Adapting, but Panatom here to make him pay. The Typhoon gets the knock-up, sets up for a little bit of extra damage, and Panatom should be able to get it, but there's the heal, there's the slow, and Adapting finds the turnaround kill.
just, again, Panatom, bro, because you can't get hit by the tower up in the middle of that bat out of hell.
And here's more action happening on the left-hand side. Aurora wants Netrioid, and they're able to get him easily. Cyclone Spin forces the jump, and Aurora gets here with it to the skies. And the thing is, Aggro, these are so and they are going to try and keep this pressure on, rather Sanguine are, onto Cyclone Spin, forces him to ult. Meanwhile, there's more action here onto Yarkor. So Cyclone Spin shows up low on mana, but can still provide the autos. And Yarkor really doesn't have a hope of making out of this one. The only question is, can he buy time for Sanguine to make something happen and left? They put the ultimate on Tings, who is quite low, uses the Searing Pain, maybe for the CC immunity, but it doesn't quite work out. He dies to Panatom, and now Sanguine can grab the Gold Fury on the back of it, and just like that, Aggro, just a game that favors them. But if they end up losing Cyclone Spin here, that could be trouble. He uses the ultimate and barely gets up to the sky in time, but where, oh where can he land? He doesn't want to drop back here, right? Hides inside the wall, but yeah, he's dead to rights. At least forces Panatom to use the ultimate.
Nowhere for him to go. I mean, there's nowhere where his teammates can...
Well, he might not get as much time as he wants. As Sanguine already starting to move aggressively around the jungle. Aurora blinks, finds the stun into Panatom, but they lock Aurora down. No way he's going to live through that. Shinto got the apple on him. Adapting's in trouble too, and Typhoon flattens him for a killing spree for Panatom. Way out in front here now. They're going to head right back towards the Gold Fury. Though Benji has shown up. Remember, this is a lot of the lead for Radiance. They need him to be impactful in this fight, or it could potentially be a big problem for them. Oni Fury down even lower. Benji zoned out, stunned as well, but they dropped the objective. They just want to try and bait him in, but Benji is bad out of hell, and he's trying to hunt Panatom on the right-hand side. No chance for many kills, but they do stop the Fury for now.
And Rongyu into that Draconic Corruption is happy to keep this fight going, but Tings' ultimate is coming up soon. He has that Chronos ultimate, and it's up right on time to steal it away.
That is huge from Radiance. They were just able to use those.
That steal is massive for Radiance, and it puts them in a position where they can actually just use this sustain that they have and continue to go on towards the Pyro.
Now they get a kill onto Rongyu. Funny how that works, where the good things keep coming all at once. They'll get the Pyromancer on the back of it as well, and this is Tings lurking nearby that Fury, lining up the Searing Pain for the steal right at the tail end. Sanguine just don't have the confirmation to contest it, and that is slowed down. Rongyu was setting the pace, especially in Game 2, but he really hasn't done much here. Panatom forces Cyclone Spin into the wall. Crit says hello as Tings drops the ultimate, and it works for him. They find Netroid way in the back. Adapting gets the kill credit for it. Now Radiance can start to get aggressive here around the map. I was just talking about how I wanted Ronky to get more active, but that window might win, so I'm sure they recognize, but really, what can they do about it? Basically, just hope for a steal. The Frenzy has been popped. Dazzling Offensive trying to get on the back line. It's low, but Radiant able to secure it. Well timed from Tings to make sure they secure the objective. He even gets the kill on the wrong view as well, who never got to do much with that ult. Time for Cyclone Spin to get a bit aggressive. Yarkor has to take a defensive pathing, and the rest of Radiant's happy to chase. Benji's been beating him up all game. Blinks in, stacks the slows, but Yarkor should be out of there with all that extra movement speed, but a big win for Radiance.
This is just, in my mind, the next evolution of the meta, where these mid laners that are really popular right now, Raijin, Discordia, Merlin, are not objecting
with this unkillable Camazotz, and that should open up more room for them to threaten the left side Phoenix. So in they go. Adapting drops the Fear No Evil. They lock down Wrong You, and all the damage is there. The Fafnir never even got to play Smite that time. Now it's Yarkor's time to try and take Tings out of it, but way in the back. They've got Netroid low. They do end up losing Tings, but it's a double. Make it a triple for Cyclone Spin as Panatal falls as well, all the way on through to the Quadra as he gets 4. Adapting strips away the Pena, but they don't need it. Deicide as the Radiance shuts down Sanguine.
Man, that's messed up for Kenneth to take the pentakill away from Cyclone. I thought he had that one on lockdown. I guess there's going to be a little bit of a discussion happening among the team after that. But just a really smart way to play the game there from Radiance. And this is what I wanted to see from them today, is a complete identity switch up and show us that they have another win condition. And I think going and defaulting back to what